What's up, guys? So just the other day, I turned on Steam. I opened up Steam and I saw that the game on sale was a game called Hyper Light Drifter. It really captured my eye. The colors, the way it looked. I kick myself now for not getting it at the sale price. So for a while now, I've been wanting to play some kind of game that wasn't a AAA title. So I remembered Hyper Light Drifter. I went back, I bought it, and it is such a good game. It was released on PC, Mac, and Linux on March 31st of this year, and it was later released on July 26th on Xbox One and PS4. It is said that it's going to be released on Ouya sometime later this year, and it was going to also be available for the Wii U and the PS Vita, but there were contractual issues that unfortunately prevented them from being able to release the game on those platforms. It is a 2D action RPG fashioned after The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and it's rendered in pixelated form. Right now on Steam it costs $19.99, but keep an eye out in case they put it on sale again. But if you want the soundtrack with it, it's $24.99. The soundtrack suits the game so well because the game is an abstract storytelling with an old school gameplay experience. So it's a mix of gaming styles, it's a mix of visuals. It's vibrantly modern, yet it looks pixelated and old. It's got this hip type of feel, but it also has this nostalgic feeling to it, and the soundtrack mimics that completely. The soundtrack sometimes sounds MIDI, a little bit MIDI. It sounds almost like The Legend of Zelda at points, but then it introduces sounds like the guitar or sounds that are definitely not MIDI. I've seen people online comparing it to The Legend of Zelda and Dark Souls. It wasn't just beating something or beating a boss or beating the enemies by chance. It was through strategy. You could actually get good at it. And that's how this game is. This game allows you to combine different types of weapons to shoot with a range weapon like a gun. You start off with an energy sword, so you could do melee attacks. You have a dash, you could combo everything, and you could even use bombs and stuff. So different enemies, different situations. You have the abilities and you have everything in the way that you level up, because you do level up. And that's what makes this game so much fun, at least for me. Some people don't like it because it's kind of slow. Some people were even criticizing it for being too hard, and the developer even put out a patch of not long after it was released, put out a patch that actually made it less hard. And people that liked it being challenging were going crazy. They're like, what? Like, why did you do that? Like, that's what made it special and stuff. And that's what the game is about. They did make it a bit more challenging again, but they also made it a little easier to handle the challenge with what you have. So you control the Drifter. He's a character that can use technology that has been long lost and suffers an unknown disease. This game has been compared to Studio Ghibli's The Castle in the Sky, which immediately piqued my interest because anything compared to Studio Ghibli is a plus, I think, to anybody. But the developer Alex Preston says that it wasn't The Castle in the Sky that inspired him, it was Nausicaa, also by Studio Ghibli. When you start off, it's not that challenging, but as you go on, you start to notice that the enemies start becoming harder. Their attacks start to become more advanced. More of them start to come out. They start to get bigger. So it's that type of old school game that just makes you feel good when you beat a boss, where you're like, yes! Every time you kept dying, it was like you were gonna kill something, but you just wouldn't give up. But what he also captured that was from the old games, especially on the Super Nintendo, was that the games weren't spoken. Everything was told with pictures and with the music and with little bubbles that would pop up. And that's how this game is. And I absolutely fell in love with that. A lot of people don't like that. That has been a criticism from some people, saying that they would prefer dialogue, that they couldn't tell what was going on. It's not holding your hand. It's not telling you, this is going on, this is going on. It's one of those games that really capture art, that is more of an expression than an actual way of storytelling. It's more of an experience, of your own experience, of how you interpret it. It is a painting, it is telling a story through music and through visuals. So here's a little bit about the developer. Alex Preston. He was born with congenital heart disease. This game is his outlet. This was his way of sharing his personal experience to a wider audience. It was his way of almost letting go of all those experiences where he came close to death. So very fittingly, he named the studio that created Hyper Light Drifter Heart Machine. Aside from all this, what he really wanted to do was capture the elements of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Diablo. This game actually started on Kickstarter. He started the Kickstarter campaign in September 2013, and he was asking to secure at least $27,000. And eventually, this game on Kickstarter earned over $640,000. And on May 5th of this year, there was a patch that actually added co-op. I still haven't tried it. I don't know how it even works. But as a single player, I think it works great. In the challenge, as a co-op, it must be a little bit easier. So I would recommend just play it as a single player. If you want to try co-op, then go for it. But just play through it for a good while in single player. It does have a very slow start, where you're like, what's going on? You don't know what's going on for a while, especially because there's no dialogue. It's just music and visuals. But it's so, I love the way it's told. I love seeing the little characters. You're like, oh my god, that little character just looks adorable. Once you start to get enough points to level up and stuff like that, it starts to really open its doors. It really starts to show you what it's about. So in the beginning, it doesn't represent what the game is very well. It takes a little bit to pick up. It's kind of hipsterish, you know, like I've been doing this for a long time, like way before y'all. But it's new, you know, like it's almost like a retelling of old school games. Something that has maintained those roots and is now expressing it in a new way. If you're an old school type of gamer, if you played those games in the past and you really loved the challenge, I'd say definitely try it. It really opens up my eyes to see just what games could do, what games could be. Not only do they tell a story, the narrative, but it also tells a story of them. It also tells a story of who created it. It could be personal. It could be something, you know, something very personal to them, and it could be a piece of them. What these games represent, what they could represent, and what they're trying to tell us. Especially in a game like this, it's like, that's what really makes me love games, love this medium. That is Hyper Light Drifter. Let me know in the comments down below, have you played the game? If you don't own the game, what do you think about what I just talked about? What do you think about these types of games that represent more than just a narrative? Or do you like it just a simple narrative? Just tell me a story, don't make me think too much. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.